This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's get to the event itself. Bragging rights 2010. We're going to get things started with a dark match. We've got MVP winning over Chavo Guerrero. And then on the opening match of the show, it's Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler. It's a non-title match. It's SmackDown versus Raw. Meltzer dug it. He gave it 3.5 stars. Fans were chanting Bryan from very early in the match, and the crowd was super hot for this. Michael Cole is on commentary trying to push Bryan with the nickname Mr. Bland. I don't know if that's exactly how you help get a guy over. They're doing lots of early mat work, which I'm sure you were a big fan of. Ziggler, of course, is a legitimate amateur badass doing a bunch of amateur takedowns. And this was good stuff. I like the way it started. Matt Stryker's on commentary. Jerry Lawler's on commentary. What'd you think of this one? I thought this was a really, really great match.
Well, I think calling him Mr. Bland is Mr. Bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I think. And again, it's one of those deals. Use him because the audience, he's catching fire, and anybody with two eyes can see it. The audience likes Daniel. He's every man. He's the overachiever. He's a guy that's out there with skills, but maybe he doesn't have, the size and the power of a lot of guys. But he's very skilled, and he's done his homework, and he's got guts for days, all those things. But it's one of those deals. It's another one of those that, let's let him go out and get over to a degree, but let's just don't turn the water spigot wide open, because that alone, calling him Mr. Bland.
Yeah.
I just ask one thing, Conrad, because I don't want to get off on a negative tangent about any company or anything. Let me just ask you this. If this is a performer on our show and he's a moneymaker going to be for us and he's going to be a featured part of our talent, why would you ever speak about him negatively or talk down about him or do anything other than enhance, what's going to become a big part of our company? That never made sense to me for our announcers to just knock in that kind of way, our talent. I just will never get it. I've never got it. It just is a mistake. And you've seen it. It's like they want you to get over, but they don't want you to get too over. And it's all because they don't want you to have any power so that you can control your destiny. They want blind obedience. It goes back to that same common thread. But let me tell you, the match with him and Dolph Ziggler, 4 stars at least.
Yeah.
And 2 guys that understand the business, 2 guys understand, putting the wrestling into the match, which a lot of matches you'll see in their entirety doesn't have anything to do with wrestling. It's high spot central. This one would have been it would have been a crash course in how to work, I would imagine. And it just benefited both guys. It's a great way to start a pay-per-view off because at the end of it, you've got a good taste in the audience's mouth, and it's only going to go up from there. But you really set the mood and set the precedent.
I agree. I think you could enjoy this one more with the commentary off. And we should mention that Mr. Bland thing wouldn't have been something that Michael Cole did on his own. We know that comes from up top. And there's something else in here that, boy, it just does not age well. I mean, it shouldn't have happened. Lawler and Stryker, and I'm sure this is a directive because they wouldn't have done it otherwise. In real life, 2 great guys. But man, they're just piling on Vicky here, saying that a truck hit her because it was too far to drive around her, and noting that her arms jiggle when she claps. Just lots of, shitty fat jokes. And they did this a few times to women there where it just feels like we're just being mean on commentary. Isn't that weird? Like, why is that necessary? Do you think?
Well, it's not necessary. We as a society have determined it's not necessary, nor is it acceptable. I think we have, as a nation, at least, have grown up, at least to acknowledge the fact that that, you shouldn't say fat or skinny or ugly or any of those things that are derogatory towards, a person. Why? I mean, where's your benefit? Where's that going to draw you any money? Where does that get you? It just feels like it's just shaming. And back in those days, there wasn't as much, brought to the forefront as there is in our society now. Could have never happened with social media because they would have jumped all over it, but you didn't have social media to the degree you have now. So, again, I tell you the rules that I grew up with in the business, and here's the way it is. You don't say fat. You don't say too small. You don't say too old, because guess what? Down the road somewhere, that guy may be your opponent, and guess what? You got beat by a fat old guy. What does that make you look like?
Right.
So it's just common sense back in the day.
Well, it's just weird that, I don't know, so much about this is weird. Calling Daniel Mr. Bland when he's so over here. I mean, he's super over. It is a little weird not hearing all the yes chants, but that would come years later. So it's just a reminder that, man, this guy's over with this audience.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.